Let's go. Everybody just clap like this. Just clap your hands like this. Come on. Yeah, it's all right to clap. Listen, we're gonna take y'all back a little bit. One of my favorite songs in the world. Check it, listen. Break it down. So he keeps doing great things for me. He keeps on doing great things for me. Whoa, he keeps on doing great things for me. Whoa. Anybody's testimony tonight? I know. Come on, y'all, sing it again. Y'all can help us sing. It's easy. Sing it. Yeah. Do great things for me. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep on. Listen, if Sean Reese was here tonight, she would say it like this. She would say, listen, if I had 10,000 hands, I would use every one of them, y'all, just to praise
Mic check, 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Between Sundays. Nice of you to join us on this evening. You can see I shared the post. And if you are out there and you're up, just tune in. We have back with us Jay and Darian. I'm so excited for tonight as we are talking about some more topics that have to do with church from the lens of musicians. And so we're excited about that. And so right behind me and switching the camera, we are ready for these two gentlemen to take us to this next level. I present to you, I introduce to some and present to others. That's a church line right there. Let me introduce to some and present to others. None other than Jay Morris and Darian Brister. Take it away, fellas.
All right. Somebody back in the building for first time in a few months.
Welcome.
Good to be back with you all.
Yeah.
Between Sundays, tonight is episode 72. Again, we're a platform where we offer perspectives of the modern church ministry operation and the many nuances therein from the lens of worship arts and multimedia personnel. If you're watching us, say hey. If you don't mind sharing, share it to your page, share it to a group, tag someone who might be good in the conversation when I get a chance. I'm going to pin the YouTube page in the comments. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube page, please subscribe to the YouTube page. Mm-hmm. Right. I know while I was out, we dived into another series, funerals, and we definitely got more to bring to you in that regard of the funeral series. I think that's going to be a good comic relief as well as maybe eye-opening for some people. Now, tonight, we are going to jump back into a series we started, I believe, in March. And that series was called Church Membership and Blurred Lines. Mm-hmm. Church Membership and Blurred Lines. If I can, let me try and quickly do a little bit of retro with this series. It started on the phrase that I brought up that many hear in the Baptist church, maybe even more than the Baptist church, but you hear in different churches, either at the time of joining the church or at the time of what's called the right hand of the fellowship. And you hear this phrase, we receive you as a member of our church with all rights and privileges. So we spent a few episodes dialoguing about, what those rights and privileges are, whether or not that's something that got the attention necessary or gets the attention necessary from a clarity standpoint. And we also talked about in previous episodes considering maybe re-examining the language as it pertains to rights, privileges, and dare I say the word bylaws.
Wow. Yeah.
So we talked a lot about that in the first couple parts. I think tonight we're going to start to broach the blurred lines part of this series. We took, I think, 4 different episodes talking about the church membership side of things. And let me put out this disclaimer yet again. We are not against church membership.
No.
And we are also not necessarily against the hired creative becoming a member of the church that they were hired at.
Yeah.
We are not against vilifying or demonizing any of those. We are taking a closer look at the moving parts and maybe some of the nuances that are not talked about very much.
Yeah.
So before we get there, I do want to go back. I did a poll a couple months ago on my Facebook page asking people if they would respond to what their understanding was of the rights and privileges. I think I read one a couple months back, but I want to go through some others just again to lay a little groundwork on the conversation tonight. All right. One person commented on, again, the question being, what are the rights and privileges of church membership? One person writes, typically voting rights in meetings where membership matters. Privileges could relate to discounted fees or waived fees for life events such as weddings, funerals, etc. All right. The next comment was voting regarding church business / affairs when your vote actually means something. Rights and privileges to membership in church ministries, to partake in church ordinances, to pastoral care, and to receive resources in the time of need. Lots of folk guffaw this type of language, but it is rooted in a time when people took membership to heart. Let me just translate that last line. When it says lots of folks guffaw this type of language. Guffaw meaning they, almost side-eye it, or they, look at it sarcastically.
Gotcha.
But it's rooted in a time when people took membership to heart. And I don't take issue, I don't take issue with that position. But I think it goes back to what we said about re-examining the language.
Right.
Because the language, as they just said, is tailored to a different time.
Right.
So then now we have this slanted expectation, or we can have a slanted expectation of trying to apply today what worked yesterday.
Yeah.
Trying to tailor today to what yesterday was when the fish are not the same. I can't stay there. Let me move on. Next comment. Again, this was from a poll I did regarding asking people what they understood as the rights and privileges the church membership are. Next one said, while the specific details vary by denomination, church membership is generally a formal commitment that allows full participation in the life of the congregation. As a member, you gain the right to partake in all church ordinances, such as communion and baptism, and the privilege of serving in member-only ministries and groups. This status also provides you with a formal voice in the church's future, allowing you to vote on its mission and direction, or even hold a leadership office. Membership also ensures you receive dedicated pastoral care, giving you and your family prioritized support for life's most significant moments, including weddings, funerals, hospital visits, and personal counseling. The last one, abilities to participate in activities that are related to the development of your character and routine to the house at large, or to the church house at large, i.e., Bible study, prayer meetings, auxiliaries, business meetings, and other things that are exclusive to membership and watch care affiliates. Okay. Here's where we're going. And I'm going to start by asking you this question, Jay.
Yeah, what's up?
If we were to look at the landscape for the creative of being a member of a church, and then look at the landscape of being hired to fulfill a duty at a church, I think most of us would say that the landscape is different.
Of course. Yeah. Expectations on both sides.
On both sides. How the creative sees themselves in that church environment. How the church sees that creative in that environment. Most of us say there's some nuances there.
Of course.
So I guess let's start here. Jay, what's some of the first couple of differences that come to mind for you?
Well, first let me say it's so good to have you back, man. It really is, man. It's very good to have you back, and definitely good to be back in this seat, man. And here again. So
absolutely.
So let me start by saying this. So as I was reading what you were reading with the voting, while the specific details vary by denomination, church membership is generally a formal commitment that allows full participation in the life of the congregation. As a member, you gain the right to partake in all church ordinances such as communion, baptism, yada yada, serving in member-only ministries and groups. Status also provides you with a formal voice in the church's future, allowing you to vote on this. It almost sounds like a club. While you were reading it, I had to think about, Boys and Girls Club, Motorcycle Club. From what I read, it sounds like a club. When we say stuff like this, as a member, you gain the right to partake in all church ordinances, such as member-only activities. So when you look at member-only activities, that means if you're not a member, you shouldn't. Let's just say that. I'm not going to say you can't. You shouldn't participate. Now, here's where I draw from this.
Okay.
I see issues with this statement because if I don't have rights and privileges as a member, and I'm not talking about nobody specific. I'm just asking. If I don't have rights and privileges yet, if I wanted to give the church $1,000, why don't you turn it down? If I don't have, I'm just being honest. Let's just say that this is the usual of what we are used to, and usually it is. How come my money is good to give, but if I need, that money's not good enough to give me when I'm in need? Number two, if we're reading it right, and because you said something earlier that is different fish now, and it's totally true. I remember back in the day when the usher board and the choir members, remember choir dues?
Oh yes.
I don't think choirs do dues anymore. Not like that.
Not as common as it once was.
Exactly. Mostly every church had a choir and you had to pay your monthly dues or you couldn't sing. Like I said, almost like club-like. And so nowadays you try that, you may not have a choir. The fish are a little different. Everybody's more on the woke vibe now. So, we ask questions now, like we're doing now. We ask questions about what we're reading. So when we would read stuff like this and say, okay, well, what does this mean? Partake in all church ordinances such as communion and baptism and the privilege of serving in member-only ministries, but I'm not a member. So does that mean I can't partake? But the church doors are always open.
It's an interesting question that I don't think it has a black and white answer. Because based on what we know and what we're reading, if you are attending a church, but you're not a member,
right?
Based on what we know and what we're reading, attending gives you limited access.
Right. Now, let me say this. Now that we read all this, as a hireling,
yes, sir,
that desires to become a member, does this apply to me?
Does it, and how?
And how is the real question.
But continue, sir.
The way this is written for the person that you don't need anything from, and this applies to them, will and how will it apply to me the same way as a member? Does that dynamic change my role? Does it change how I'm viewed? Because I don't know about you, I've been in situations where I have joined and part of this applied to me until my job was on the line.
All right, so
I hate to walk into the lines mom so early.
Before I do that, before I kind of stir trouble, Pels, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
My question for you, and it's mainly because, you have sat in the pastor's seat. So my question would be, in your opinion or in your perspective, how is it that we can, I'm looking for a different word, but how is it that we can differentiate club from community? Because I think the goal, even when we talk about church membership and everything that we've read, the rights and the privileges, access versus limit, I believe that the sober goal is community, not club. I believe that's the goal. But Pelzer, from your perspective, how do we differentiate as it pertains to church and ministry, community, not club.
Yeah.
Might check 1, 2. Well, first of all, what makes it hard is denomination, right? So when you get into denomination, we've been in such a y'all know we candid on here, in such a, sorry about the word saints, but like a pissing match over taking our worldly mindset and dumping it into the church, because the church has to be sensitive about it. 90% of the problems that we're talking about now have nothing to do with salvation alone. Right? Because technically, as a believer, we got one job. What we've done is we put the community work before the Christian work. Christian work is community work, right? So from Christianity, Christ-like, you get the story of the Good Samaritan. You get the woman at the well. You get Nicodemus, you must be born again. You get, knowing that the rapture is coming, all of that stuff. You get, I must die that you might live. You got all of that. Love your neighbor as yourself. You got all of that. You got Peter going back to fishing. Yo, what you doing, homie? Yo, you going back. I need you to go forward. You're going to be fishers of men. All of that is in Christianity. Then you get to Acts chapter 2, boom, you're initiated. Let's get out there and do it. The main piece is the gospel, and all this arguments that everybody have over tongues, whatever, whether it's I'm praying in the spirit or I'm speaking another language to people that I don't normally speak to, but the message is still the same. It's about Christ and him crucified. Corinthians tells us that. Now we get to, if you look at the New Testament, people were gathering in their homes. When Peter was locked in jail, they was in home praying. Dorcas, whatever, knock on the door, boom, boom. Yeah, boy at the door. We prayed him out. That's what they were gathering. So it's beyond the four walls of the church. Even as black people now, as in the black church, when we look at the church, most of our churches are old Presbyterian churches, old Catholic churches, warehouses, whatever. And there are the people that are assembled. So when you take people, if you get a bunch of Negroes from West Philly, their church community organization is going to be different than somebody that lives in Cheltenham. So then we take this blanket thing on there and say rights and privileges. What rights do you want? Right? Either you want to give or you not. If you give unto the Lord as you purpose in your heart to give, so what? You won the lottery, you feel religious, you need to get it off your hands to feel better. Are you really worried about rights and privileges, and are you really in a pissy fit because, oh, y'all ain't want this before, so now y'all like me because I got bread in my pocket? That's vanity. So this is almost like, for me, from a Baptist lens, them rights and privileges stuff, I mean, there was the person that never cried about it. Then it's the people that always itched about it. I believe the B word. They itched about it. And mainly the people that was complaining about it was the people that once you get it all like they want it on paper, they still not going to do nothing about it. And the people that was going to do it anyway, they watch all the complainers cry about, well, y'all said we couldn't do this. Well, we got to wear black and white on Sunday. People that really cared about communion, they put it on if they could, and if they couldn't, they didn't care what you said about it. They got that communion. They served the Lord. They ministered. They prayed for somebody. They went to the hospital visit, and the same people arguing is still there, showing up to the meeting on time just to raise their hand and start complaining. It is so 1970s and 80s with the rights and the privileges. And as I said, from a Baptist lens, somebody out there can speak, Felix can speak to Kojic. But the question that Darren's asking is, you pay to be in a club. I'm reading Felix's Pastor Morgan, exactly what he said. You pay to be in a club. Community is usually free for most. In other words, we sing the song, there is a fountain filled with blood drawn from Emmanuel's veins. Sinners plunge beneath the flood. It's this freedom to do even at a cost. So I come with a giving mindset. And I don't argue about the rules and the regulations, because you have to make rules and regulations depending on what you have. Churches have gotten into a place where you make the rules for all the people that got good jobs and got money. And you forgot about the people that got, they trying to keep food on the table. They robbing Peter to pay Paul. So now you got to adjust the rights and privileges.
Right.
Right? You put a mandate on people. If you miss 8 Sundays, you can't so and so. The reason why they missed it is because they couldn't afford to get on the bus, and we don't have church vans to get you here. And they're too ashamed to tell you they need money or they got to eat. They had to work on Sunday. And so the rights and privileges start to put us in a fit where now when you get back to what really is a right and privilege according to Acts chapter 2. What's right and a privilege according to and 3,000 souls?
Yeah.
It really comes into you must be born again. Because when the Holy Spirit is in you, a lot of that stuff that we do rightfully say rights and privileges is called accountability.
Yeah.
So what I grew up remembering was grace. And there were people that knew, according to the bylaws, you can't say nothing.
Yeah.
But we're going to allow you to say something because the people that keep up with the bylaws, they is the biggest devils in the church. They dues is on time. They on 8 different organizations. They put their $5 in on all of them just so they could say something. And the person that had the biggest heart that really cared about souls, they were missing the mark of it.
Yeah.
And that sounded like grace to me. So
Oh yes.
for me, the crying over the rights and privileges and then, behind on your shoulder because they treated me like this when I was at that church. Sometimes we just don't know. We just don't know. And the church has changed so much from then until now.
Yeah.
And one last word, like, Jay, this was funny. Dues that I remember, dues was just for organization. Right?
Right. Really.
Because everybody put the $5 in, but if we wanted to get past a TV, after everybody did the right thing and put the $5 in, we still $100 short.
Yeah.
And then there's that one person that's like, God has been good to me. And they say, here, I'm going to put 50 in and somebody else match it. What they got to do with the bylaws and the rules?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
sir.
nobody says, well, Keith and Jay, y'all don't have to pay dues after the anniversary for the next 8 weeks because y'all put in an extra 50. No, that very next Sunday,
Oh yes.
I need your dues.
That's it.
Y'all take it back from me. Y'all
So
Me-
real quickly,
Go
if I can, so one of the things
Because I am going to get back to your question.
Yeah.
But go ahead, sir.
so one of the things that I thought about when I was talking about the club situation in church being like a club, according to these rights and privileges, is I'm more on the reality of what really goes on behind the door. What happens when you do something that somebody in power doesn't like? And now the rights and privileges are revoked from you and you're no longer at that ministry. Now you're almost excommunicado. And the people that you called family at that ministry no longer either are talking to you all the time or you grow apart. You're not as close. So if we're going to say community, it's a little hard to kind of swallow that pill when most of us have felt the sting of leaving a ministry and then having that separation anxiety of those that said, hey, I'll always be there.
Yeah.
You can always call me.
Yeah.
And now you're not there anymore. Now the number goes to voicemail. Text has become a little more unanswered.
Yeah.
So so when you say these rights, so when I say it sounds like a club type situation, and it almost does. And I'm not saying that the churches do this type of situation anymore, but when the reality hits and you're not there?
Yeah.
And now you have to deal with the anxiety of now finding somewhere else, another club.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's crazy, Jay?
Yeah.
And I like what you just said, but you know what it made me think about? Look at our relationship, me and you. Right? Then let's add Felix in there. Let's add in, shout out to Sister Aranissa. I see you, Sandra Williams. I'm going to let Darian do all that. But still, you take Marvin Harris, right? Me and him, we musicians.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. You got St. Philip's, you got Southern Baptist Church. But you know what? Me and Marvin is part of a community called musicians.
Right.
Yeah.
Feel where I'm going.
Yeah.
Me and Darian relationship is actually part of community
Right.
as musicians. My relationship with you is like you a brother to me, just like Darian. But you know what that's through? The community of musicians.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And our community ain't too bad because it's either you a jerk or you not.
Right.
And I don't have to know where you live at. I don't have to know you for 15 years. When I met you, I met your wife. I'm like, y'all good people. Y'all family. Done. We ain't looking over our shoulder weird unless you give me a reason to.
Right.
But musicians have a community. That's the crazy thing. We actually, church will get mad with this. Pastors will get mad with me. Musicians actually have a community because we've been beat down, talked bad about. We've done our dirt. We've done our wrong, but we know when we right or wrong. Where you at? Oh, I ain't there no more. We know if you ain't there because of you or because that church is bad. We know.
We know.
Come on, Jay.
Yeah,
we keep it
right.
100%. Everything cool here, but it's places you've been
That's
that
right.
I ain't never said to myself, oh, he ain't there because I was like, yep, I seen that coming. Right? And I
we
seen
do.
that coming because I'm like, yep, that wasn't a good fit for you, bro.
Yep.
Hey, and I'm not saying nothing bad about that church. And there's nothing bad about my man Jay because I know Jay.
Right.
And I know Darian and I know different people. So it's like we do have a community. But here's the crazy thing that's different though. What does our musician community do for one another? Because remember what y'all talked about before. We don't have unions.
Yes.
Right.
Right? So we can't even protect one another if a church do us bad.
Very true.
Church has been doing musicians bad for years. Musicians been doing churches bad, but churches have been doing musicians bad for years.
And Jay, guess what a
Go ahead,
union
Derek.
is? Guess what a union is? Another club.
Right. Exactly.
Let me shout out some watchers
Go ahead,
real
bro.
quick. Mrs. Angel Morris in the house.
Hey.
As mentioned before, Pastor Felix Morgan,
Felix.
Martin Witherspoon, Dr. Chandra Williams,
Hey.
Dan Corsi, Kamani Davis, Vicky Caldwell Fordham,
Big.
Cheryl Spinner Vaughn, Antoine Bazar, Dave Bell, Terry Oakman Jr., Dave Johnson. Again, thank you all for tuning in.
Thank y'all.
Darren, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You know what's crazy?
Go ahead, man.
Because Felix will call and cuss me out. I did say it, but none. Because this stuff that me and him talking about, Jay.
Yeah.
This is good though, and this supports where I see where you're going.
Yeah.
This supports it because, like what Darian just said, I'm gonna blame it on Darian. A union is like a club, but the thing is, you have to put into it
Yep.
to expect certain things out of it.
Exactly.
The problem for musicians, especially when churches like, well, you need to join the church, and then we get to this rights and privileges angle. Here's the problem though. How much do musicians actually put into the church that they're not getting paid for? See, when you play for church, you getting a salary in
Right.
most cases, unless you grew up in that church. So right now, if I go and play at a church, they're going to pay me, and I'm not obligated to put anything else into that church other than to give of my service, but I'm getting paid for it. So it's more so transactional, not relational. And then you can't judge my relational aspect with Christ because I was already saved before I showed up to your church.
Wow.
And the hidden requirement is, do you know the Lord, or we assume that you know the Lord to play transactional at this church. So I already have a relational, but my dealings with you is transactional because I'm already relational with Christ. Now your thing will be, I like you, but I want you to be relational with our church. Well, I am when I'm serving in the transactional. But now if you want more from me, now you're going into relational. Right?
Yeah.
And then if we go into relational, I'm throwing it right back at you, Jay. Here it is. Then I should have some more rights and privileges. Right? So now just because we're transactional, you're requiring me to be more relational. So if somebody's sick in my family, I'm expecting you to reciprocate on a relational and not say, well, it's only transactional.
Mhm.
But see, in all of that, there is a transactional in the relational where you don't really see musicians put into
Mm-hmm.
other than their talent.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where it gets tricky at.
Yeah, it's a little tricky right there.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. Little tricky
That's
there.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me.
Sorry, Darren.
It's okay, but let me take a detour. Can you put up Chandra Williams' last comment?
Oh, got it. Got it. This is good.
So, can you clarify, Dr. Williams, if the church covenant is different from the rights and privileges of church membership? Because I would like to talk about that before we leave.
That's a good one, yeah.
So can you clarify that, at least from your perspective,
Yeah.
whether those two are different? And if it is different, can you give us, your perspective on the church covenant side so we can address that? Let me say this, because one of the things I'm about to say next, it's going to be tricky.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Doc.
It's going to be tricky. But I want to start by saying this for someone who might be listening. I think a lot of times with conversations such as this, the search for clarity is taken or interpreted as trying to expose, let's say, the negative parts of the church.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's how it's taken a lot. And so then we get into this, let's say, this arrangement of where, okay, if you are not antagonizing the church, the ministry, the mission, if you're not antagonizing it, then why ask these questions that seem to expose or seem to point out irregularities? And I think someone else might think, when you're pointing this out through just search of clarity, you are pushing someone away from the church, where I would suggest in 2026, clarity will draw them closer. Transparency will draw them closer.
Here's some clarity. This is good.
All right. The church covenant is a mutual commitment describing how members promise to live and serve together as followers of Christ. Rights and privileges of the church are the biblical responsibilities, benefits, and authority members have as part of the local church body. Okay. So then the original question was, where does the church covenant, let me make sure I come into this.
Makes sense, right?
Where I would say is the description that Dr. Williams just gave. I think that, particularly when she talked about the church covenant, I think that part sounds less like a club. You tell me.
Yeah, that part. Yeah.
That part sounds more like community, where the details of what we hear about rights and privileges sound more like a club.
Yeah.
And again, it just goes back to previous episodes way back where I said maybe we need to re-examine the language.
Yeah.
Did y'all,
I agree.
So if you really notice, so I grew up where we had Sunday school. So no matter what time you start the service, an hour before there's Sunday school.
Right.
Then attached to that is there was the rights and privileges, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was intertwined. Here it goes, Darren. It was intertwined in if or say like Bible study.
Yeah.
If you were a deacon, you had to be a Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those are rights, privileges. So it's like you don't have a privilege to stand up in the pulpit as a minister if you don't do this or that, the third.
Yeah.
Now, the church down the street, they don't have the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
As the church evolved, well, some churches don't even have Sunday school. They put everything into Bible study. So then you would actually have to change it and specifically say Bible study. Then it went to if you don't tithe, right? But then times get hard. So nobody's policing your giving. There's grace. So then you kind of have to modify that. But the rights and privileges, as Dr. Williams put it, part of the local church body, that's where you can have Kojic may do it this way, Baptist may do it that way, non-denominational does it that way. But notice what she has in Church Covenant. Church Covenant, mutual commitment, describing how members, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to attend this church body here, right? But if you look at the furthering of it, promise to live and serve together as followers of Christ. This is where you blend the differences in I like this and I like that. And the Bible is the book that doesn't contradict itself and my conviction. So therefore we find the answer. So if anything, if we have any problems, we can sort it out in the Word of God. What does that look like? Studying the Bible.
Yeah.
So now we don't even have to go to rights and privileges, and we don't have to go into the, the extra stuff. Or it's like we should want to study the Bible.
Because can I add something on top of what you just said?
Yeah.
Because again, going back to Jay's point on the details that we see in the rights and privileges a lot that look like a club.
Yeah.
What you don't see, you don't always see key Bible. What I mean by key Bible. How often, Pels, have you seen in rights and privileges, or have you heard explained in rights and privileges, Galatians 6? Restoration.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you brought up, Jay, what happens if, I don't
No longer there.
I don't pay my tithes, or I don't attend this, or I don't attend that. Because again, that's what kind of came out of those bylaws things, and that got caught up with the privileges, because then it started to create a scale of how much your rights weigh versus how much somebody else's rights weigh.
Right.
How much your vote weighs versus someone else's vote.
Right.
How much your voice weighs versus someone else.
All right.
Talk to me. Because I still got to get back to your original question.
So, can you be hired and still have
Go for it, Jay.
the rights and privileges, like the pastor said, the church covenant, mutual? So can you still be hired and assume that you have all the rights and privileges of member? Because remember, this, I'm reading what was already said as somebody has shared. It also provides you with a formal voice in the church's future, allowing you to vote, even hold leadership. Membership also ensures you receive dedicated pastoral care. So is it possible I'm not gonna say is it possible. Is it reasonable to say that you would have as a hireling all the same rights and privileges and benefits as a community as a person who is not hired?
All right. Before I answer that question, or at least give my answer to that question, I want to I'll save that for another time.
Hey,
Go
so as you when you look at the covenant piece of it, right? The covenant basically connects you with the Bible, right? So basically you're basically putting the signature on, we are of the same mindset on what the Bible says. Then when you get to rights and privileges, right? Think of this, let me simplify it on vote, right? So there's the covenant, then there's the rights and privileges. So it's like, and you mentioned the word hireling. If I'm hired at a church to play, I'm really not deep into voting on, do we get blue chairs or green chairs?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can throw an opinion in there, but it's just like, if people are like, well, you ain't a member. All right. I just said like the green chair looked like Christmas and the red one looked like the blood. Okay, boom. I'm not losing no sleep over that. Now, the keyboard, if it's get a Nord or a Casio, that's a business decision. Right. But and if the board says you don't have an input on a Nord is better than a Casio, I back out because I'm not a member. So I'm not even looking for rights and privileges other than respect my opinion and my input. But I'll take whatever y'all do because, again, transactional, I just get paid. The rights and privileges, that thing, the sad reality is communion comes under that.
Yeah.
Not even covenant. This is where it gets really mixed up.
And that's where I was about to go, but I felt like that would be next week. Because
covenant is going to say, hey, we believe as followers of Christ, we should gather at least, at a certain time of the month or as often as you do this. We all in Corinthians, we agree on that in the covenant. But then the privileges says, well, according to these things, you can't take communion. That's weird, but that falls in the line of it.
That's where I was going.
Felix made a good point.
I was going to and pick up your point if you need to, pals. I was going in a direction where covenant and rights and privileges, it's hard to reconcile the two because they sound very different. Generally in the covenant, we're not talking about rights and privileges. When we break down what a covenant is. Go ahead.
Before you do that, so let me just put it all the way in the dirt. As a hireling, can I get off the instrument and get prayed for?
As a Christian, you should.
Should is different.
Right. So now you have to individualize what church is that much of a jerk that they're thinking about rights and privileges to pray for. What pastor do you pray for as a hireling that if you say, yo, I'm feeling sick, can you come by and see me? And they like, yo, the only answer I can give you is I don't have time. You're not a member, so I'm not obligated to come past unless you throw the question out there, let me see if you're going to come by. If they say no, it's not about rights and privileges. Your relationship with them, they don't care.
Well, not even that, pals. Can I get up off the instrument on a Sunday morning because I need prayer and come to the altar?
Yeah, but that's a problem with your job, though. I'm gonna tell you why. It really doesn't have nothing to do with musicianship, like with being hired, right? I don't think it has anything to do with being hired. If I hire somebody to fix my roof, and that man on the roof, child, is in the hospital, or that man says, I'm mentally jacked up and I need prayer, I'm not thinking about the job at the moment. Now, at the end, I'm like, yo, I still need my roof fixed, so you need to replace somebody. I'm going to pray that you find somebody to fix my roof. If you are playing the organ and you get up and shout and say, I can't get back on the organ, I'm not going to dock your pay. I don't care if you're a member or not. I'm not docking your pay. The pastor who does that, they got a freaking issue.
But you have a lot of pastors who will.
So we have to name them, right? It's not a general church thing.
So
That's when we get specific and say that's like generalizing and saying everybody does a Marvin Sapp and say lock the doors.
Mm-hmm.
No, everybody don't do that. So we have to really point out some discussions we're having is because of our experience at said place. Because I get what you're saying, but as I'm looking at this Negro's face on here with the beard and the Phillies hat, that dude right there is going to drive from King of Prussia to Virginia to help you change a tire based on relationship and not look at you. The yay is yay and the yay is nay. Sometimes if I ask Felix to do something right now, he gonna be like, nigga, I'm tired, I'm in the bed. Or he's gonna say, dang, all right, where you at? I don't go to this church. I'm not a member. I don't have no rights or privileges. That's called relationship. And that has to be isolated and not generalized that churches do that. People do that, not churches. So I don't count if it's 18 churches that you went to and you got up and said, I need a prayer. And it was like, well, you ain't a member. You got to name all them 18 churches, because if you go to Sandra Williams Church and you play, and you get up after song number 1 and pass out on the floor, they gonna pray for you, throw some oil or blanket on you, and you can sit your behind on that floor the entire service and they will figure it out. And that you don't have to be a member.
Pels,
Go for it.
let me establish this before I say what I'm going to say. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and Pete, in terms of that's not the norm. That's the exception. And if we spend time talking about those instances, then we got to talk about the people in those instances.
Yeah.
Got you.
Here's the difficult part, though.
Go for it.
The difficult part is what you just mentioned about what Pastor Pete would do, Pastor Chandra Williams. For the creative, they don't see that representation when we have these conversations about church membership and rights and privileges. That's the difficult part. You don't see the representation of not governing yourselves by a divide. We just when we look at these details, we're just looking at a divide.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus the pastor such as Morgan, such as Williams, that they're not going to govern themselves strictly by that divide, strictly by the divide of where you're not a member. You didn't join my church.
Yeah.
Whatever. They are completely holistically ministry minded. They're holistically. But I believe with the creative, and when they look at church membership, this is what I believe is a fear, a hesitation.
Okay.
Is that because what those pastors do beyond the membership is not represented when it comes to the language of church membership and ministry. Then it's like, for you all feel like the abnormal to us.
Let me ask this though.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So ladies and
Let's
gentlemen,
stay here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Pelzer is going to throw the 300-pound gorilla into the mix. I'm a little baffled now, because if we're discussing the nuances of church covenant and or rights and privileges, are we discussing this from what church covenant is and rights and privileges are because you come from a church that you had a covenant and rights and privileges? And if even as me as a musician, if I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, I don't see too many people that saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost that never came across covenant and church membership. So my home church was Southern Baptist Church. If I left out of there because Deacon Baxter always want to play the guitar, we don't have no drums, no nothing, it's dry, and my gift has made room, and I'm over at Noel Jones Church, right? I come from a place that I got some kind of comparison of what rights and privileges are.
Yeah.
Right? So, because I've had almost every musician that came to my church, if I ever had a problem with them, you know what their main thing was? My bishop is. My home church is.
Yeah.
And I'm playing for you. So that means you have an idea. I don't care if you came from Kojic, Baptist, Pentecostal, or non-Pentecostal. You have some kind of idea what responsibility is if you have a home church. And when you got baptized, whether Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or in Jesus' name, what church did you come from, and what is your understanding about community, fellowship, responsibility, giving, whether it's tithing or giving from your heart?
Yeah.
You know something. So don't come to me testing what's the rights and privileges and stuff. Now, let me ask you the question. Tell me what you know so we have a comparison here. Because you can only be asking if you know that it was something and what you're doing is different from what I know. I'm going back to the nucleus of what do you understand? It's like when people ask me questions about the Bible, it's like, wait, hold. It's like they said, well, they say Jesus, they say that, whoa, shh. Who do you say that I am? Let's start right there and see where your understanding of this matter is that seems to be the problem. Right?
Yeah.
So when you pick a bad pastor, you have some idea what a good pastor is.
Agreed.
So let's start there. And then I'm open for the comparison because it's good to say, well, my pastor where I come from, if I was hungry, they cook a meal for me. Cool. I'll buy you a Chick-fil-A meal, but I ain't going home and cooking you one. We're different. But the one thing that's the same is I'm not going to let you starve.
Yeah.
Right there. So again, I come from a Baptist background. Philip comes from a Kojic background. And when we talk, we got a baseline to start with our complaints if we have them. We have a baseline. So Jay, I hear you 100%. My thing is, at my home church, I would ask the musician, when you needed prayer, what did they do when you needed prayer at your church where you came from? Is what did they do? If you had 18 mothers gather around you, now I can look at my church and say, this is what they need. Because I may just be like, help them, Jesus, and I'm still sitting in the chair and you pissed off with me like, well, they ain't come over to me. Well, we're different. But if you talk about it, we had a conversation, we may be able to adjust to, this is new for us and this is what you need. We don't mind doing it. It's only a jerk church that's going to bring up, well, you ain't a member of rights and privileges is so-and-so. No, simple conversation for me is, brother, if the Holy Ghost just take you and you get emotional every time we play Jesus Got Up, then this might not be the job for you, but you are welcome. To sing on the choir, go in the sound booth, whatever, and I'm going to get Darian to play because I know you fall out every time we hit a slow song. I'm sorry. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We need a baseline.
Now, Pels, if I can, I got one more.
Yep, go for it.
So, we all three of us have children. When a parent, when you have one child, it's a lot easier to pay attention to. When you have two children, it's not that bad. When you start having 6, 7, 10, Christmas gifts are going to come far and few. You're going to get maybe one gift. What's your point, Jay?
Talk, Jay.
I found, I can only talk about me, that a lot of smaller ministries are some of the best ministries because the pastor a lot of times will focus. His focus is able to be on his members, and you're able to get prayer. You're able to get those special gatherings where we're having a church dinner, and you're able to come here and eat. Yeah. I've seen it. But it's something about when the church started expanding and more members and the pastor only got 2 eyes.
Yeah.
I hear you. I agree right there.
And you start getting 200,
Mhm.
300, and next thing you know, you at 1,000. You can't keep your eye on everybody at one time. You can't go see people in the hospital all the time.
Yeah.
So now you are dedicating your ministers. You are putting them in positions to do what you
Mhm.
supposed to do. Now, I don't got a problem with that. I'm just saying, once it seems that once they start expanding the care
I hear you.
of what is supposed to be, as Pastor Williams was saying,
Mhm.
it seems that starts to get a little bit dim.
Yeah.
Now to where it is put on others to share my care. So you're my elder. I need you to go see the Deacon Baxter in the hospital.
Yeah.
I can't go see him and go see this person and go see. So I can't care for 1,500 people at one time.
Mhm.
So when you come to me and say, hey, listen, I need this and I need that, unless you're special or you're close to me,
Yeah.
hireling or not, it's almost like I can't possibly give you the best of me as would as a pastor who has 20 members. Because now he can come see about me. I mean, I'm just stating.
But Jay, does that
perspective.
sound? I'm just asking you because you made a point, and I feel you because I wrestle with this in passion. Does that seem like an old church song mentality when it's like? Because I grew up in a church where it's like the mother was happy because you came to their house, and I'm like, what's going to happen when the church get bigger? Because even if you have a roster of 18 pastors, preachers, they go, well, I thought Rev was coming. Well, I'm a reverend too.
Right,
And I was
exactly.
sent by him. But that wasn't good enough.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, Rev getting older.
Yeah.
And Rev can't come to everybody's house.
Can't.
It'll be 12:30.
Yeah.
But they ain't satisfied because I pay my tithes. I do this and that. And you know what? I made some of my older members mad. I was like, when the Bible said, let the strong bear the infirmity of the weak, it doesn't say let the pastor strengthen every member.
Right.
Yeah.
It said let the strong. That's general. And then we have to assume from there. I don't want to be biblically out of context, but here's the thing. I see Cheryl and I see my sister Erin, this is Chandra. But here's what I'm saying. Let's just agree or disagree. Let the strong. That's general.
Yeah.
Bear the infirmity of the weak. We, even as musicians, we want the pay of minister of music, which is some kind of elevation in title, which means that's almost like saying you's a lieutenant.
Right.
So if all the members are soldiers, you a lieutenant, you a sergeant, you something, or you chief or something like that. We want that pay, but normally it comes from the music department. They ain't treat me right. I need more attention. They ain't come see me. It's like, no, at least what I did for my daddy, I act like a deacon before I was called one.
Yeah.
I act like a preacher because I knew who God called me to be. And I always would look around and say, we had an old church saying, if everybody in this church was just like me, what kind of church would this church be? And you know what? I would always say that to myself when I got lazy, when I got tired, when I didn't give a darn, when I was pissed off with everybody. And I'm like, if everybody's just like me in this moment, God is not pleased.
Absolutely.
Right? And the thing with the Holy Ghost is that the Holy Ghost is given. He is in all of us. Right? who strengtheneth me.
Yep.
Right? Me, not them, not the pulpit, but to the person in the balcony, to the back pew, there is a fill in that person that the church has no excuse to have a result in full weakness.
Yeah.
And it can't be the same people every darn week that's the strong. Because when Paul says, work out your salvation, we get the idea of exercise. So the next question is, what is your exercise in the faith where God strengthens you? Right? And that kind of eliminates the pressure that's put on. And if we are about community, we ain't looking for Pastor Marvin to come to the hospital if I see Michelle and Enoch come to the hospital, because they members of my church.
Yeah.
So the church careth about me. And just because Aranis and Marvin didn't come, that don't mean that St. Philip's didn't care about me.
Right.
Because
Right.
unless I find out, I ain't going up there to see Keith. I ain't going to see that Negro. That's evidence that I got a problem because y'all represent the church. But if the members come, that's the community.
Yeah. That's the community.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
the best
it's
part, right?
That's the community. Our mentality doesn't go that way though.
And the thing is, Pels, one, doesn't the Bible say if you are sick, call the elders? It doesn't say call the pastors.
Right. Well, yeah, you got that.
So when we talk about call the elders of the church, the pastor's not the only one who can get to God,
Absolutely.
who can get a prayer through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we miss that part.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Keith is, Pels is a pastor. We're looking to see him. And he can send up a prayer and it can be just as powerful, but your wife can send up a prayer and it can be just as powerful.
You see what Sister Aranis put up there, and
Yes.
Darren, you got it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Absolutely.
preaching this at times. My church got mad with me. I was like, when it says, "Look amongst you," there's already reputation. Right now, if the three of us add Chuddy, add Jamar Jones, add Troy Chambers, and all these people in there, and then somebody says, and add Lil Daryl's brother, and somebody says, I need a Mozart version of Great Is Thy Faithfulness. Y'all two can attempt to do it, and I think y'all do a great job. But if I got to make the executive call, I'm going to look at Troy, but then I'm looking at Jamar Jones.
Absolutely.
Y'all see where I'm
Absolutely.
going, right? Which means amongst us, we already know each other.
Right, right.
So these dudes was like, we got to get back to this.
Right.
But y'all go out there and look amongst you.
Right. Everybody got their specialty.
So, shouting out some more watchers. Can
Go
you
for
put
it.
Pastor Harris's comment?
Yep.
That one there? Yep.
Yep. Boom. There it is.
Pastor Marvin Harris, thank you so much for your contribution tonight. Good to see you.
Marvin
Pastor
carries
Harris.
the piece
Eric-
that transits.
Eric Sisterin, Tremaine Dunlap, Minister Aronessa Harris, thank you for your contribution tonight so much. Now, let me I want to say two things real quick, and then Pels, I need you to
I
find.
can't talk no more. Go
I
ahead.
need you to find Felix's comment that
I can
says,
find it.
"So stop all of this. Such and such was hurt." Did you find that comment?
Is it a cuss word in there? I can
No.
find it. If
So when you bring up this expectation of the pastor doing all the visiting,
Yeah.
is it possible that expectation is more the culture of rights and privileges?
ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's how it was in my church. boy.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say.
Is it possible
dedicated?
that birthed
Dude,
the expectation?
we visited people because they were sneezing.
No, it says it right here. Dedicated pastoral care.
So
Pastoral
is
care.
it possible that the expectation of the pastor got to visit everybody
Yeah.
came out of the culture of the language, rights, and privileges?
Talk, Darren.
Yes.
Talk,
Is it
man.
possible? Now, that comment there,
Felix's?
I can't
Okay.
go past that today.
Okay.
I got to address that today.
Okay.
Pastor Morgan, it is not that simple for us. And let me give you an example of why it's not that simple for us.
Help them.
I can liken it to even looking at people who serve in ministry, but in ministry capacity where skill is important. It's not the easiest to find the person that has the skill, the good character, and dependable.
Right. Yeah. 3 different.
But all those are needed
Yeah.
in specific areas.
Wow.
But it's not always easy to find that package. And so a lot of times, and pastors, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times you may be, for lack of better words, forced to choose the best of what you can get. You might be forced to choose the good character, reliable one that don't have the skill.
Right.
Wow.
So unfortunately, put money aside.
Right.
Let me go deeper in terms of go to the church where you know it ain't happening. As a creative, let me go deeper.
That's hard.
Put money aside. Okay. Even if money wasn't an issue and we were looking at a church, we know it's not happening, but that church musically was challenged.
Wow.
For us, that is going to be a heavy weight
Wow.
in the opposite direction, right or wrong, spiritual or not, because that's where things can get a bit subjective.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy for us, even putting money aside. It is because if, for instance, prime example, okay, let's take a musician who is more on the traditional side when it comes to his taste and his skill, right? Or her. Let's take the musician that their taste and skill is more on the traditional side. Well, they might find that the church where the hurt ain't going on, their music is a lot more CCM.
Right.
So yeah, they can go there, but they gonna feel like they don't fit.
Right. Square peg, round hole.
So it's just not that easy in terms of just go where you know it ain't happening and serve.
Yeah. I agree.
It's
right.
not. It's the intent or the intent behind what he's saying is honorable.
Yeah.
It's honorable. I don't take anything away from the.
Well, he
intent
said that so
behind
he
it.
wasn't cussing. That's what he said.
But
I'm with you, Felix. I'm gonna say peace.
but when we get to the reality of it, So now, here's what I want to leave with today, and I got to get back to the original question of can the hired creative truly feel that they are regarded in the community, the church member, let's call it the church membership community.
Yeah.
Let's try and use the sober language. The church, because again, we don't have anything, we don't have any issues with membership.
Yeah.
We don't. So let's use the sober language. Can the creative, the hired creative, can they truly feel an equal part of the church membership community? The same as if they weren't hired creative.
Wow.
I would say yes, they can. But some of the old guard language would present issue. What do I mean by present issue? When we go back down that rabbit hole of, let's even say, responsibility of the church community, church membership. When we go back down that rabbit hole, not a bad rabbit hole, but when we go back down those details,
Right.
Then you get to part of the transaction, or a part of the, let's not say transaction. We get to a part of the equation where one would say, Jay, that the hired person, even when they become a member, the hired person is getting out of the church what other church members aren't getting. That's where the equation becomes interesting.
Right.
That's what one might say.
Right.
We ain't got no problem with you becoming a member, but there is almost a bit of an asterisk in many cases because, again, you're getting out of the pot
Yeah.
what other members are putting in the pot but not getting out of.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Wow.
true story, y'all. Y'all gonna laugh at this. Jay,
Yeah.
there was a dude that played. My grandfather died in 1975. And Pastor Graves would remember this guy too, because we go back with Olive Branch, right? So there's Pastor Graves, my grandfather, and his dad and all that. But back then we had the old musicians. The musician we had at our church, they used to pick him up and he would be drunk on a Sunday morning. Now, that's my hand to God real story. This dude played at
Yeah,
clubs
well,
on Saturday, and it was like we didn't know how sober he was going to be to come play.
Right.
Because that's all we had to put on that upright piano. That dude wasn't a member.
No.
But you know what? He got picked up like an Uber.
Yep.
Got fed the same chicken, greens, collard greens, everything we got. He got all the rights and privileges. And what voting ain't pay no dudes nothing.
Yep.
Interesting.
Got his little money.
Wasn't that no Bible study,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Got his
But-
$25 and he's all right. He's
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
happy camper.
Dude, I picked a musician they're going from us, but they played for my church, and I picked them up every Sunday and paid them, fed them. My sister watched their kids,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Not the members of the church. They paid for daycare and stuff. My sister fed almost every musician that played for us. My sister paid. She was cooking them cornbread. Making them back. They like, oh, Sister Michelle made me some cornbread. But I'm like, Negro, we pay you.
Yeah.
You getting rights and privileges out of my deaconess in my deaconess house.
Yeah.
And you got paid. And I'm like, Michelle, did they buy the macaroni and cheese? Nah, man. What? You getting market food and cooked food, sleeping on all of this stuff.
Yep.
And ain't nobody say nothing about rights and privileges. But you know what? None of them did this to me. But the minute somebody gets sick and we don't go see them, we the worst church ever. I said it. We the worst church ever. Rights and privileges say we ain't supposed to serve you communion because you ain't a member of our church.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't asked you for no receipts, evidence, or a letter from your bishop that you saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, but we still do. That part, what I just said, is called community.
Yeah.
Because here's the 300-pound gorilla in this room here. Not this room here, but I'm saying this conversation here. If we insert the word community around the word covenant and rights and privileges, the community kind of covers all of that and debunks all of the organizational stuff that we talking about.
Agreed.
Because when people blame the church for what they're doing and not doing, what the church doing community? Well, what's community? Give me an example. Feeding people. Well, so why are we worried about rights and privileges to feed the musician? But we expect you to feed everybody walking past the church that ain't put an offering in the plate.
Yeah.
We can't do this both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that puts us back to what Sister Aaroness has said. I love it. Where she says, let's go deeper. When you read your Bible,
read your Bible.
Just start there. We know it's different. They didn't have Uber back then. They didn't have a Hammond B3 starting up. There wasn't a worship leader. Put your hands together. There wasn't even Sunday school, this, that, and third day. People are learning the Bible on it day by day. They're spreading the word before the Bible's written in its entirety. And so if we go back to scripture, which we based off of, then you got to look at the nucleus of it before we deal with what the problem is today. And when you go back to that foundational point, there were elders. She put 1,000 S's up there.
Yes.
Plural.
Plural.
More than one. Assigned 2 churches.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens was, and if you read far enough, it is expected that if you, Jay, and Darian are elders of the Hammond B3, and you elder me and Marvin on the B3, 4 years from now, we should be eldering somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
What hast thou learned? If Jesus was like, yo, what was y'all doing all this time?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be around spiritual learning and not grow.
That's true.
Eric Sisterin, we're gonna get to that question next week.
Mm-hmm.
So please tune in next week because we're gonna get to that question.
That's good, man.
Because we were already headed in that direction when it comes to this topic.
Oh yeah.
I do want to come back to my answer to your question, Jay, when I said I think the hired creative can truly feel like they are getting the church membership community just like any other member. But based on the nuances that we know many of our community, our creative community, our musician community, based on the nuances that we know our community has experienced at high frequency,
Right.
then that means serious conversation needs to be had
I agree.
before, that move is, considered to be done. For instance, okay, pastor approaches hired creative. Hey, brother so-and-so, sister so-and-so, have you ever considered, or are you a member of another church?
Mm.
And if you're not, or if you are, have you considered joining us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Based off of, the capacity in which, you serve us. We consider you, family.
Mm-hmm.
You've been with us X amount of time, and we've embraced you. We've had no issues. We feel like, there's a good level of communication, a good level of transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Has the thought crossed your mind about, maybe bringing your membership over here with us?
From where?
Well,
No. I'm not throwing at you. I'm just saying in general.
I'm with you.
Therein lies the problem. From where? Because
So-
again, we have a baseline on your understanding of membership. Because in many cases, I'm telling you, I believe there's a generation of creatives now that don't have a solid base of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of problems we see now is foreign. And you know what the Holy Spirit just hit me with? I'm looking at all of this praise and worship talent that hops from church to church. And we have the audacity to sing, come on and bless the Lord with me.
Yeah.
Right? So you're an individual coming in to connect the people that you're not a part of. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're going, and I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying this is weird, because when a church asks me to play, the church I play at in South Philly, when they call me, like, I know the people, right? And if the pastor seems like he's having a bad day, I'm ministering to him.
Yeah.
I'm there for the audibles, as if when I'm nearing that moment, even though I get a check, I treat it like I am a member of this church. Number one, that's why I'm on time.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that's why I don't walk out as soon as 12 o'clock hits.
Yeah.
Because my Christian faith in any church that I'm in makes me feel like I am just as much as a part, and I am empowered when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Who can I add value to with Christ in me?
Yeah.
And that's crazy. So therefore, some worship leaders, if you're adding value, right? that singing part, this is weird. I'm sorry, y'all. I went on a tangent just thinking about that, about how disconnected we are, where most of us live transactionally, but we expect relationship. That's just rough to me. I'm telling you, I see it from a lens like and I don't blame the people. I don't blame the worship leaders nor the musicians. I'm just saying we have to recognize we are at that point that we've literally grown up transactional and not relational.
Yeah. Thank you, Pels. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
We're back next Tuesday, same time. Thank you all for joining us, all who watched, listened, all who put comments. Great dialogue. Thank you for helping make the dialogue great.
Yeah.
Save for next week. Save for next
save
week.
for next week as well.
Good
Thank
Lord.
you, Mr. Harris.
Good Lord.
I'm your co-host, D. Bristol.
I'm Jay Morris.
We out of here. See you next Tuesday.
That's crazy, boy. That right there was starting.
That's a blast from the past.
Woo!
That right
That
there.
right there. Is that part required? And that part
Did we
is
talk about that one?
totally transaction.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Sky is the
We talked
limit.
about this.
Sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Let's go.